What up, what up, what up, football fans all over the world? It's your boy Mac the Giants fan here with my guy, the super dope co-host, Adam Costas. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for that real deal NFC East round up. Punch that intro. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. I am Mac the Giants fan here with my guy, the super dope co-host, Adam Costas. How you doing today, Adam?
Good, Mac. Thanks for welcome back. You're safe. We couldn't do the show without you last week. It
Yeah, I
wasn't the
did great.
same. I didn't. I don't. I hope I did the intro justice because I felt like I can't get the range that you get, but I tried anyways. But we're glad you're back. I wanted to say thanks real quick to Zion for popping on with me and helping to navigate the ship. It was different being in the driver's seat. Normally I'm the passenger, and the other day, I got to be the driver. So I appreciate that. Appreciate you. Glad that you're safe and back and ready to talk some NFC East football.
Absolutely, and I do want to say thank you also to Zion. Y'all stepping in last week, holding it down with you, man. And I appreciate y'all guys. Did a great job. It was a great show. I listened to a little bit of it, but I was out right. The show was right when me and my lady was out at dinner and just enjoying
Obviously, yes.
the floor of the sun. So, yeah.
Hey, honey, I got to talk to my bozo friends about football. Give me a second.
But I do appreciate you guys did a great job. It was a great show. I did go back and listen to the show after the fact, but it was a great show.
Appreciate
But
you
yeah,
giving us that time to re-listen. That was we appreciate your ear.
yeah. So yeah, absolutely. And so football, man. Sunday was a crazy day, man. I was football sitting in. I was by the way too. How you doing, Daniel, in the chat? Thanks for always stopping in, man, checking in. But
Happy birthday!
yeah.
Oh, happy Wednesday! Nice.
Football was an interesting Sunday, man. I'm in the airport for most of the afternoon, and I feel like so pretty much for the whole afternoon slate, I was either in the airport or on the airplane flying. But I got to actually take in the entire New York Giants game on Sunday afternoon, sitting in the airport, literally the whole entire game, sitting at the airport. So I had to kind of control myself a little bit because I was out in public, out in the very public area with and a lot of guys, a lot of security guards with guns and everything. So I just had to. I had to keep myself under control, but but I did enjoy. Got taking the whole Giants game. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch too much of anything else as far as the Eagles and the Commanders game, which we're getting ready to start out here with. But uh, football, interesting Sunday, man. Some eye opening, some results, and this one right here was definitely a revelation here. Commanders and the Atlanta Falcons. What's your takes on that game? And by the way, what's going on, Alex? Thanks for stopping in, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Alex, my man, how are you? Well, my take is that the Commanders, need Jaden Daniels to kind of survive, and everything's a week to week league. It really is. It really is a week to week league, and you know, we talk about Washington have an impressive victory right after they get the doors blown off by Green Bay. They beat the Giants, and then they have another victory the next week, and then all of a sudden, they lose this game. You're like, what? What? You just came off a win, after getting your teeth kicked in. You come off a win with Mariota, and then this week you have Mariota again. You have a team that's reeling that lost to the Panthers 38-0. Okay, it's not like this team was came off a win. They were coming off a hapless. Well, you could have dead and buried them. And to me, it just shows that the Washington Commanders have some issues. If they can't play with the lead or they don't have Jaden Daniel to have his magic, they're an average team. They can still put up points. As you can see, they still put up 27 points or whatever in their furious comeback, but they don't do it. They don't, people aren't afraid of you anymore. Okay. Everyone's giving you their best shot. They've all heard the hype all season and all last season. You got to earn it. And every time the Commanders play. I mean, who do they play? Let me get a glimpse on who they play next week. But every time they play they play the Chargers
Yeah,
next
the
week. Every time they
Rams. I
play
mean,
a
Chargers. I mean, yeah.
every time they play a good team, they never seem to rise to the occasion. Now, Atlanta, by all accounts, was a bad team. They were a team that was reeling. This is a game that if you thought you were a contender this year, you needed to win. I understand you have Mariota. It's not like Mariota hasn't played football before. Okay, it's not like Mariota can't execute the offense. It's not like you didn't bring in playmakers, Terry McLaurin and Debo Samuels. This is what you brought him in for, to win games like this. Your defense let you down. Okay, your offense didn't get off the ground till the second half, really. And this is where you're at. And you got to do some real soul searching because that LA team is coming off a trumping by the Giants. And if you think that the effort you put forth with the Atlanta Falcons is good enough, well, guess what? You're going to be in for a long season, Washington Commander fans, because this is a different team, this is a different year, and this is a different era. And I'll tell you this right now: if you can't beat the good teams, then you're nothing. Then you're nothing because coming down the stretch, and things could turn. Remember, week to week league. If you can't figure out a way to get a turnover, a stop, just defensive presence, because we were playing Michael Penix, who looked like a rookie last week. You come out here and you're telling me Dan Quinn couldn't put something together? I was very disappointed in the Washington Commanders. I know I picked them last week to win. I'm not picking them from here on out until I deem that they show me that they're a good team. Right now, they beat some teams that they should have beaten, that they're slightly better than, but they're not. We shouldn't be talking about this team in the upper echelon of teams.
Yeah, I mean, it was just. I guess I didn't get to see much. See any. Well, I didn't see any of this game actually. Just a few highlights, literally. But yeah, to me, this to me is the kind of game you need to go out there and seize the moment and definitely take advantage of and get the W, man, for the Washington Commanders. Like you said, if you want to be taken seriously as a top contender in the conference. Now, obviously, a lot of football left to be played. You were without Jaden Daniels, and I get all of that. But at the end of the day, like you said, Marcus Mariota is a vet. He's a guy who was definitely one of the more should be looked at as one of the more reliable backup quarterbacks in this league, and it should have been able to be good enough to go out there and get the job done against
What's the
this Atlanta
defense?
Falcons football team. Defensively, that's part of the problem, and it's what I was saying. I just think this defense is going to continuously rear its ugly head. I mean, they're going to put together some games where maybe they play pretty decent and play pretty solid, but overall, just from a consistency standpoint, I think you're going to have some issues with this defense pretty much all through the season, man. I just feel
Well,
like I'm just I just can't be sold on it on what I see from this defensive unit. I mean, also Bijan Robinson. I mean, he had one of those days. He had a day. Let's face it. He's a superstar player, and he had a day. I mean, mostly in the air too. Like I mean, receiving. I mean, big day receiving 4 catches for over 106 yards, and then he also nearly had 100 yards rushing as well. I mean, 70 had like 75 yards rushing as well. So
yeah. Well, it
Bijan
ran over
Robinson,
100 yards in
yeah,
total.
Bijan Robinson had a day. So I mean, it's just I mean, look, football, like you said, week to week, you never know what you're gonna get any given Sunday. But this was an Atlanta Falcon team that, especially the way they came in, kind of struggling, like you said, Adam, kind of reeling into this game a bit, and you just got to figure out a way to win this game, Washington. And unfortunately, you fought you fall yet another step behind the Philadelphia Eagles, who are sitting still undefeated right now. But
Well,
just real quick with this comment, let me add this comment with Chad real quick. As a fantasy football question. Honestly, Darren Wallace coming off a big game on Monday night, obviously. And honestly, he's probably is going to be looked to become a bigger part of that offense given the circumstances of that game Monday night with the Tyreek Hill injury. So he may be a pretty reliable play going forward for right now. I mean, it's tough to say because will he be able to challenge that same energy continuously, bring that shit consistently? I don't know. But they're going to probably be looking his way a lot more now, especially with that Tyreek Hill injury. Because you look at that offense as far as in the receiving game, Jalen Waddle, Darren Waller will probably be the go-to guys. So as far as Hollywood Brown's concerned, out there in what's Kansas City, right?
yeah,
I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he's awesome, he's great and everything, but he's
I
kind
do
of just
believe
going
you're
to
right.
he's going to spread that ball around to just whoever, you know what I mean? More so as far as it not being much as an effort to necessarily get the ball to Hollywood Brown, you know what I mean? So I would probably go with Darren Waller personally.
I
Just
agree. He's going to have more targets, obviously, because Tyreek Hill's injured. And Hollywood Brown, they're starting to spread the ball around to Tyquan Thornton. Xavier Worthy is coming back now,
yeah.
and so they're not just going to Hollywood Brown may get more yardage because there'll be less people, to bracket him. But right now, I would go with Darren Waller. That's just me.
Yeah. I mean, at least try it out. At least maybe this week try it out and see how things go. Hopefully I gave you good advice, but if not,
Oh
don't
well.
shoot the messenger.
Let's just get
not
into
not it's
some.
not an exact science.
Well, yes. Don't bet any money, and there won't be no money. All right, I'm not betting any money. But some numbers here. This is where I think the defense needs to step up. They gave up 435 yards of total offense to a team that could not score a point against the Panthers, who are absolutely god awful. Okay, the
They
Panthers are
did
not a
get
good
shut
team.
out by the Panthers. They got shut out by the Panthers, didn't they,
Right,
a week before?
shut out by the Panthers. Okay,
Mm.
38-0. They were so bad they were calling for Raheem Morris's head, saying he's going to get fired. They're going to blow everything up in Atlanta, and they come back and they bounce back at home. Now, Michael Penix Jr. didn't have a good game the week before. Comes back again, so bad of a game they were contemplating whether or not he was worth the 8th overall pick. One game does that for you. Comes back, has a phenomenal game, but you got Drake London, right? He had close to 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. He had 110 yards. Okay, you're gonna have 13 yards clipped to that guy. You got another 100-yard receiver in Bijan Robinson, who had 26 yards to catch. That one of those came on a long ass throw. Kyle Pitts gets involved. The guy's been on a milk box missing. Okay, and he's
Mm.
all of a sudden got life when he played at the Commanders. So really, the Commanders' Achilles heel is defense. If you make a stop, if you do something, make a tackle on Bijan Robinson, do something, maybe you win this game. But clearly, your Achilles heel is the defense, and you gave up a ton of yardage. And that's not offensively, you weren't too bad. I mean, you weren't a great offensive team. Obviously, Jaden Daniels is not there. If you look at their offensive numbers, they had 294 yards total offense, 147 yards passing, 147 yards rushing. That's kind of eerie. They only had 5.8 yards of play. They had less first downs. Okay, they had 17 versus the Falcons 24. Here's where they really lost the game offensively: 1-8 in third down efficiencies. You can't do that. Yeah, sure, you're 2-2 on fourth down, but 1-8 is not going to get it done. Whereas the Falcons had 6 of 12. They converted 6 times, 50% of their third downs was completed. That's terrible. Okay, penalties. The Commanders were out penalized. They out penalized them, and the turnovers were even 1-1, right? And they only gave up 2 sacks. They got 1 sack. You didn't get any pressure on the quarterback. That tells me they had a clean pocket. There's 6.8 yards per play, 128 yards rushing, 307 yards passing. This Commander defense is really what the issue is. You put up 27 points in a game, 27 points in a game, and you lost. Okay, me and Mac are from the era of you put up 27 points back in our day. That was a blowout. That was an automatic win with some of these teams if you put up
Yeah.
27 points. If you're putting up 27 points, you're winning games. But that's going to be the Achilles heel for this Commander team. Will they be able to stop offenses that are high powered and get enough pressure on the quarterback to disrupt something? But Von Miller's clearly not working out. You had Dedrick Wise on the injury reserve. You didn't pick up Jadeveon Clowney. That might have been a move for you to make, not the Cowboys, maybe you guys. And here you are. You're at 2-2, 500. Season's not over, but you play just as daunting a task as the rest of the NFC. And all year and all summer, we heard how good this team was going to be, how challenged they were going to be. Again, it's still early in the year. What up, blood? What up, blood? But it's still early in the year. But the problem I'm having as a Commander fan, same as a Giant fan, is defensively. What am I going to do when it comes to tight knit games? Because at the end of the day, 1 or 2 plays of stopping them on third down, maybe they punt, maybe get the ball back, maybe you're winning
I mean, perhaps. I mean, and look, they've been dealt. It's been tough. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's football. You got to have that next man up, man. Somebody's got to step up. You got to step up and become and fill in. I mean, obviously they've been going out without Terry McLaurin as well. So
Right. And Jaden Daniels, I get it, but still, I mean,
that's arguably your two best players on offense. Period. I mean, flat out your two best players on offense. But at the end of the day, guys got to step in, man. Like I said, that's why you pay a backup quarterback like like Marcus Mariota to try to keep you
I mean, he
afloat.
wasn't bad. You still put him
And,
27 points.
and he was there. Like I said, for what it's worth, he wasn't terrible. He did enough to win this football game. It just this didn't wasn't able to work out.
Can't give up 34
I
points.
think it comes with just having an identity offensively. I feel like this team still lacks an identity offensively as well. You don't really know.
The identity is
Maybe
Jaden Daniels.
yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. The identity is Jaden Daniels, and without him out there, it's just like it just has an impact completely on the can affect the whole entire team, honestly, even on
But
the
it's still
defensive side of the
27
football.
points. You should be able to say, with a backup quarterback, I scored 27 points. I should be able to win the game. And you went out there and you made the Atlanta Falcons, look like world beaters, right? Who, again, that offense couldn't score a fucking point against the Panthers, who the next week couldn't do shit.
That is
So,
also true. That is true. So
and the league is not predictable like it was back in our days, right? Where you knew your heavy hitters were. Everybody's, choking here, choking there. But damn it, if I saw a team in my film study get boat raced by one of the worst teams in football, and I'm going to their building, I'm looking to do the same thing. I am looking to boat race the shit out of them, right? I'm looking to play clamp down, play power defense, and really win this game. They did not do any of that. Offensively, they didn't help their team because they obviously didn't get going till later on in the game when the game was, slowly but surely getting away from them. Okay. If the Commanders want to play the way that they played, they've got to give a heavy dose of the run game, right? You got to have 200 yards rushing with this team to sustain that shitty defense off the field. That's what they're going to need to do. You can't rely on that defense to stop anybody. You can't rely on them to get in big moments right now. They've got to figure out a different way. And if you can't do the explosive plays because you're lacking on offense, well, guess what? This is why you brought in those running backs. This is why we talked about that seventh round pick, Bill. Okay, the three named back. I'm just gonna call him Bill because I ain't got time to name all them names. Right? All I heard all summer was how good this guy was. Well, then feed this kid the rock. Make him the bell cow and say, look, we're gonna give you 40 carries a game. We're gonna grind this game out, and we're gonna do our best to keep that offense off the field.
I mean, point blank. That's what I mean. Talking about when I talk about having an identity, man. I think this team really needs some kind of form of like. Are you a power? Are you going to be a grinded out kind of team, like running the ball, at defenses, or are you gonna try to be some kind of like aerial type of team, whatever passing attack team? You gotta figure out something. And I guess it's tough when you
It's
got your top
JD5.
guy out,
That's it.
but
When you have,
we'll
I
see.
mean, the problem they have, Mac, is when he's out of the game. That's when their identity is really lacking, right? Because when he's out of the game and you're looking around like who's going to give me a play, well, that's why you bring in Mariota to kind of you know be able to right the ship. But if you don't even have a good run game because you're relying on Jaden Daniels to be your predominant runner, well, then you're going to get games like this, and they're going to need to re-strategize. I know Dan Quinn will, but you don't want the season to get away from you quickly. All right, they play some tough teams coming up. They got some powder puffs in there as well, but they got a couple rough games where they're gonna need all hands on deck if they're gonna try to keep up in this playoff race. Because after 4 weeks right now, yeah, I know it's early. Everyone's early, but it's not early. All right, we're already at week 5. Okay, we blinked. It's going to be week 8. It's going to go by so quickly. And next thing you know, if you're 2-6 or 3-5, and you're staring up at all these other teams that are 4-4 and better, because this NFC East has got a lot of this NFC conference has a lot of teams that are going to be fighting for playoff spots the entire season. Whether it's the Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings, you know those teams, even the Bears right now are 500. Right? You got to think those teams are going to be in the mix. You cannot lose ground, and that's where they need to figure this out because the schedule doesn't get any easier for anybody in the NFC East.
Right about that. This NFC East has some got some tough games. NFC East teams have some tough matchups coming along the way up throughout this year. But
Thank you, David.
thank you for joining in the chat, man. Ludwig Salazar, appreciate you, man. No Mets, no Nets, no
Ludwig.
Jets.
Oh,
Appreciate you
my
stopping
arch
in, my
nemesis.
guy. And David Burns from Facebook, man. Definitely appreciate you always chiming in from Cedar Hill, Texas, my brother. Always appreciate you, David. Thank you, man, for stopping in. But if you have any more final thoughts on this Commander team for right now, we could
No,
move
we
on
can move
to the
on.
next game. Let's go check out Philly, man. They were down in Tampa Bay. They were right down there, and I was down in that part of Florida for most of the day on Sunday afternoon. Uh, Tampa Bay and the Eagles taking on. I mean, they've become quite the rivalry. I feel like over the last few years,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
The Buccaneers and the Eagles, man. And the Buccaneers have been getting the best of the Eagles lately, man. But on this day, the Eagles were able to finally get over that Tampa Bay Buccaneer hump, man. What was your takes on this one, Adam?
Well, on this day, I see clearly, right? This is the best team in football, and they proved it again on Sunday against a very good yet banged up Tampa Bay team. They dominated the first half of the game, and then they let off the gas a little bit, and obviously Tampa Bay came back in the game. And we'll talk about AJ Brown in a minute. No Mets, as I had a discussion with somebody, and I feel like it's not being talked about as much because they're winning, but again, best team in football right now, and they're finding ways to win. I don't know if Saquon Barkley is looking like New York Giants Saquon Barkley, or if more teams are paying attention to him because the Kansas City Chiefs put the blueprint out in the Super Bowl on what to do to kind of stop, you know, um, Saquon Barkley. But they find ways to win games. They block another punt. They play good on defense, right? They made Baker Mayfield have fits. Okay, offensively, they did just enough to win the football game. It wasn't pretty by any stretch, but they made plays when they needed to make plays, and that's what they do. That's what they do. That we talk about winning teams finding ways to win, and that's all this team does. They don't know how to lose. They just figure out ways to win. We talk about new ways to lose. This team figures out new ways to win. You know what I mean? And it's just tough to figure out because like I was having a discussion with another a content creator, real reality check. He was, he and I have talked many things. He doesn't like the tush push, but we were talking about the game in general. When I said to him, I said, you know what, AK, your team is just so damn good that even when problems arise, they aren't big problems, right? AJ Brown is disgruntled. Why? Because he's not getting the ball. Well, guess what? The offense, which people forget, is not killing Moore running the offense anymore. Okay, it's not somebody who has run an offense. The new offense, they're not really a new offense, but a new play caller that's kind of adjusting to what they're doing. Right? You got to adjust. Every coach is different. You can call the same plays, but how they call those plays, when they call those plays, how they strategize is going to be different than the previous guy. It just is, regardless of how you like it. So I think that's what's happening right now. And again, what can you say about this team? They fucking find ways to win. When you think they're going to lose, I think they're going to lose Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay didn't even make it a game till late in the game. Again, another one of those slow burns where they really dominated that team, got turnovers, did what they needed to do, and then was on cruise control. Let their defense just kick ass. And then eventually the Buccaneers do what the Buccaneers do because their quarterback just doesn't give up. And I love his little moxie that he's got. And there go the Buccaneers. And they come back and they're within a score. But again, the Eagles defense does what it needs to do, clamps down, and you know, wins the game. And again, I said it before and I'll say it again. They're the best team in football. They're the best team in the conference. I don't care how they do it. The fact that they're 4-0 on games they probably should have lost. Against the Cowboys, they probably should have lost that game. Right? Against the Rams, they probably should have lost that game. Get block a kick, block two kicks. Okay? That's unheard of in football, let alone blocking a kick at all. There's been so many. And then to do it again in another game, back returning for a touchdown, they're scoring in different ways. They're finding ways to get the victory no matter what, by any means necessary. And that's why they are the best team right now. In football, you could argue with me that it could be Green Bay, it could be Detroit. Records tell me what records are. Winners tell me what winners are, and they're the defending champs until proven otherwise. and that's all they do. And I know a lot of people are excited and talking about down the road. Oh, the Giants are going to get this team will find a way. And it's the thing that I'm worried about is no Met said it best. Saquon and all them aren't playing well, and they're still winning games. Wait till they actually play well, and they wake the fuck up and they put it all together. What is it going to look like then? So, but what are your thoughts on AJ Brown? I think they're going to trade him at some point, whether it's this year, definitely by next year, because you can't have a guy like AJ fucking up what you got going on.
I mean, yeah, that's just facts. I mean, you got to understand the situation you're dealing with. You're winning football. You're on a football team that's winning football games. What are you complaining about? You're on a football team that's undefeated. What are you upset about? You got to look at it like that. You got to make. You can't make it about yourself. It's about the team. The team is still finding ways to win. They're the epitome. This Eagles football team, and I agree with you 100% now. I know a couple weeks ago I said Green Bay was the best team in football, and that's how I felt at the first 2 weeks of the season. But now, obviously, I do feel differently. And I am back right there in full agreement with you. The Philadelphia Eagles are back at the top of this mountain, I believe, of the NFL count a year right now, the first month of this NFL season. I just think they're, no matter what, it hasn't been pretty at all. None of their 4 victories have been pretty. They've all been, about as ugly as victories can get. But the fact of the matter is they're winning, and they're winning different ways each and every week, and they're finding different ways to win each and every week. They're the epitome of, like, it just all that matters is the W. That's what matters. It's no style points. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to, it's not about looking pretty. It's not about the greatest show on turf and this, that, and the other and all that other craziness. It's ultimately, are you getting the W or are you getting the L? And they're getting W's, and they're finding ways again. Like you said, against the Rams a week ago, the block
They're
kicks.
5 in a row wins from the Super Bowl.
I mean, they had another block kick in this game, if I'm not mistaken. Another, and it's just.
Sidney Brown.
They're just no matter what they did. What the fake tush push? That fake the tush push? Like, God, come on, yes. Like, give me this team is they're thinking outside the box, man. They
How much
and
of
they
a troll
figure it
job
out.
is that? How much of a
No
troll
matter
job is that?
what, yeah, no matter what, they figure it out. And I hate to give them the props that I had to give this team, but until proven otherwise, I mean, they're the kings right now, man. They're up to you to beat them. To figure out a way to beat them. And I'm not so sure when we're going to see it happen, because no matter what you do to this football team, they find a way to dig out of the hole. Like in this game here, they came out halftime 24-6 at halftime was the score. Whole dominant first half, and then the Buccaneers put the pressure on them a little bit in the third quarter. Came out third quarter, and yet this team still figured out, was able to dig deep enough to hold on and get and bring it home, man. Bring a victory home and not let the game slip away from them. So
that's what winners do.
That's exactly what winners do. That's what championship teams do. You just find a way. You grind it out. Jalen Hurts doesn't have these most amazing stats, especially passing, from a passing standpoint right now, but it's still been effective and it's still been enough. I mean, I don't know what happened in this game. I didn't get to watch it at all. But AJ Brown, like, you got 2 catches on the day. Yeah, you were targeted 9 times. I don't know if there were some drops in the mix. I don't know what the situation was. Yeah. I didn't see. But at the end of the day, it's not like you're not getting targeted. So I don't know if they. I mean, I'm going to assume that it's not 7 just terrible passes that the catches you didn't make. I'm going to assume they weren't just 7 terrible passes by Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? It's got to be something else going on. But it's not like he's not looking to try to find you to get you involved in this offense. So I think you just got to man up, man. You're coming off a Super Bowl championship. You're on the best team in football, and you're undefeated, man. What the hell are you really complaining about? I just don't know. I can't understand that with players, man. That to me is just a selfish kind of mentality. When you're on a team, you're a team sport. This is a team sport. It's not an individual sport. It's not about your individual accolades. Those are the good bonuses that come along with this, but it's not about that. It's got to be about the team. So right. I just think you got to kind of just.
There's a lot of players who would trade spots with AJ Brown in their career. Terrell Owens is one guy who would trade a championship for one of the years to be good because he never got that opportunity. And I don't know, Met says AJ wants to go to the Hall of Fame. Guess what, AJ? You'll get a better chance of going to the Hall of Fame by staying on a team that wins, because they don't care about, stats at that point. They're gonna be like, well, he's a 3-time Super Bowl champion, or he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, right? And then the accolades and the other endorsements that come with it is going to make you a legend. Regardless of you ever be in the Hall of Fame, you'll be in the Eagles Ring of Honor. You'll be honored throughout the thing, throughout life. You'll have it made when you become a champion. If you're a 2-time champion, oh my God, you're fed on a silver spoon, right? And I know what AJ wants to do. I get it, but you're Carl Banks. And I don't always agree with Carl Banks as a shield for the team. He said something that always resonated with me with Odell Beckham Jr. Because when Odell Beckham Jr. used to dance and charade around town, all this stuff, people were always mad about it. Well, he said if that guy's dancing and celebrating and getting yards and is essentially winning, then don't worry about it because you're both in line with winning. If that becomes a problem, then you have to address it. AJ Brown needs to just fall in line and say, "Listen, I don't want to mess this up." He could be in a dynasty. You know how many guys in the NFL win multiple Super Bowls? You have a chance to do that. You have a chance to do something that not many people in the history of the NFL get to do in their prime. You win a Super Bowl this year, guess what? You can go to whatever team you goddamn well please. Okay? Just if I'm Nick Sirianni, I walk into that room, I look at him, and I say, look, give me 15 more weeks or however many more weeks it is to the Super Bowl. Until we get eliminated, give me your best 15. I promise you, I'll get you out of here next offseason. But just give me your next 15, next 15 to 16 weeks. That's all I need you to lock in for. Can you do that for me? Because if you can do that for me, I guarantee you I'll not only ship you off to wherever you want to go, but I guarantee you'll be immortalized in the annals of the history of the NFL. Because that's what I do. You got to nip this in the bud.
It's just not. It's just the fact that you're a part of a team that could possibly go down as a historically all-time great, like one of the all-time great teams in NFL history. You know what I mean? You're on a run that can become legendary. You're part of a special team right now. This is a great Philadelphia Eagle football team that you're able to be a part of, man. And you need to just go for the ride, man, and enjoy it because your time's going to come. It's not like you're going to be shut down for a whole season, bro. You're AJ Brown. You're a great wide receiver, man. And it's like you said, Adam, it's going to be a game sooner or later where this offense is going to become completely unlocked and it's just going to go crazy. You know what I mean? You got too much talent for it not to happen. So it's going to happen. You just be happy with winning the football games because that's what's important right now. You know, that's right. All that's important. Like nothing else matters.
And to me, it's like a spoiled child not getting their way. Like, oh my God, I didn't get a new bicycle today. Like, dude, you just got a new bike last week. Like, what do you need a new bike? Like, you're complaining about nothing. Like last year, I probably would have made the move when he was reading the book on the sidelines. I would have been like, listen, I don't tolerate that. Nick Sirianni is a guy who wants to, accept personalities and not step over a boundary and not make everybody, step on toes. However, sometimes you got to put your big boy pants on and kick in a door or two and say, look, bro, we love you here. I don't know what your problem is. I got you 9 targets. I'm trying to get you the ball. This is just the nature of the game, right? We're trying to win these football games. We got a lot of pressure. You don't realize that everybody is giving you their best shot. You are the champions walking into that building. We've heard it time and time again. How many times have we heard, well, the Patriots are coming to town. We're trying to be our best at our best because you're trying to see if you measure up to the champions. So with that being said, you have to have a winning mindset. He's not on a winning mindset. And the only reason why I would trade him right now is because I don't want to derail what I got going on. I am winning right now. And a guy like AJ Brown could just start the decline, to start that dissension amongst the ranks. I think they have enough personalities with the quarterback, the running back, to offensively kind of control that. That's why I think you're seeing it. But he's going to get louder and louder. He's not going to get quieter and quieter, even though they're winning. And if you're looking around and the food is good, you're having a good life. You're 8-0, you're 9-0, you're top of the league, you're top of the conference, and this guy still wants to do this. I say, yo, see you later, bro. I got a number 1 receiver in Devontae Smith. I got guys that I don't even give you the ball. I get the ball to my tight ends more than you. You're out of here. You're expendable. I'll go get a 2nd-round draft pick for you. Okay. I'll get some assets for you. I'll continue to keep it moving. And while I ship you off to Tennessee, Cleveland, some fucking random ass shitty team like the Raiders or something like that, and you're losing your mind because all you're doing is losing, and we're over here hosting Lombardis, I'll gladly do that for you.
I mean, you can't put it any better than that, Adam. And I just want to say welcome to the chat, beautiful bearded bastards. Welcome to the chat, man. Appreciate you stopping in. But yeah, this I just can't understand that when you're part of like something as great as this, what this Eagles team got going on right now, and just how you can just have that kind of mindset as a player, man. I think it's not, you know how many guys want to be in your position, AJ Brown? You know how many, you can take every receiver on the New York Giants and they wish they were a part of what the hell they got going on the Eagles. You know what I mean? And you're sitting here like, they just got to relax, man. You got to chill out, bro. You really got to. I don't know. You got anything else you want to talk about with this particular game?
The last thing I'll say
is
about it is this: is like this is what we call like rich people problems. Okay, they're rich and they're complaining about the fucking Bentley in the driveway. Well, I want a black Bentley. I need a black Bentley. Like, what are we doing here? Okay, this is the type of shit that go watch that Cowboys dynasty. It'll open your eyes to some shit. It really will open your eyes to some shit. And it will show you what dissension amongst the ranks can do to a winning football team. And a guy like AJ Brown, and Howie Roseman is already working the fucking phone lines. He's working them lines. He is working them lines. And again, if this keeps up, if I'm Nick Sirianni and he's, let's say, being phased out, or other guys are making big plays, or we're winning despite him being on the field, right? And we're winning without having to utilize him the same way. Well, guess what? Bang. And by the way, they had to use him against the Rams. Okay. So he was complaining in the Rams a few weeks into the season. Then he blew up against the Rams when they needed him. Your time will come, my friend. Sit there, be patient, collect your rings, and you'll get to where you want to get to in your football career. If not, I know Howie Roseman. He don't tolerate bullshit. He'll be out on the next charter flight.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for that, beautiful bearded bastards. I appreciate that, man. We really do. We come out here every Wednesday, man. We really try to do our best, put on talk the NFC East talk, man. So we appreciate you tapping in. Glad you're enjoying the show, man. But yeah, Eagles, man. Like I said, it just, to me, when you're 4-0, to me, you don't have problems. You're 4-0. So that's just point blank.
What could you be unhappy about?
If winning is a problem, then I don't know. Winning to me, shoot. Man. You got anything else? You got anything else about this game? The Eagles, Buccaneers, they got over that Buccaneer hump. It was a solid game, whatever. But
I thought they were going to lose this game. They showed me why they're the best team in football. We can move on.
Yeah, they just demonstrating more of what they do. We're gonna get to the Sunday night football, man. We're gonna go to Sunday night football. Dallas Cowboys, Green Bay Packers. Return of Micah Parsons to Jerry's world, man. People were putting so much on that, hyped it up. It wasn't,
it wasn't what it meant.
Too crazy. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, Micah Parsons, he had a solid game, nothing spectacular, nothing great. But this was just probably game of the week right here. This was an amazing game. Way to end Sunday football action that night. Got 5 quarters of football basically in this one, man. This game went to a 40-40 tie. What's your thoughts on the game, Adam?
First off, fuck ties, man. There should never be ties in any sport. What are we doing here? Ties. We're in a professional ass league and we're still ending in ties? Are we fucking serious? The NFL. We are the National Football League, and we end in ties. I understand Pee-wees ending in ties, maybe even high school ending in ties. You are pros. The college doesn't even end in a tie. We need to stop this bullshit, okay? This game was magnificent and shouldn't have ended that way. It shouldn't have ended in a 40-40 tie. It is a classic barn burner. It's one of those games we want to talk about years ago, like, oh my God, remember that Cowboy Packer game that went down to the wire and this guy did this and it went 6 quarters and, Dak threw for 500, 700 yards, whatever, blah, blah. No, instead we got a 40-40 tie. And what does it do for anybody? Nobody wins. Nobody loses. How do you feel? You're walking around the locker room like, oh, we scored 40 points. I guess we didn't lose. Like, what? Like, and then in the standings, you that tie can affect you not going to the playoffs because you had a tie game? because you couldn't get over the hump. There wasn't. This is why the NFL, you need to go back and do the playoff format in the regular season. I don't understand why you do a different format in the playoffs. Oh wait, I guess because they have to advance. Well, you need to win a game. What's the fucking difference? You win or you don't win. What? Who cares about the regular season or the fucking playoffs? I don't want to sit there and talk about a tie. Here I am on a Wednesday afternoon. Should be talking about how great of a game the Cowboys and Packers was. One of the history of the ages of that long-standing rivalry that ends in a fucking tie. That ends in a fucking tie. Here we are. This is. I don't mean to be going on a rant about this, but this is something that just gets on my damn nerves about the NFL. And then people, the other thing that gets on my damn nerves, I love George Pickens, but he's like, I didn't know we could end in a tie. He doesn't even know that they can end in a tie. Like, what is going on here? And then 10 minutes for an overtime? You just went 15. Why not give them the full 15 and let it be another quarter and see if they continue on? The Packers would have scored the field goal. The Cowboys would have got the ball back, and the Cowboys would have had a chance to score, and we would have went back and forth, and we could have seen who won the game. Instead, here we are. Nobody goes up in the standings. Nobody loses in the standings. They still technically have 2 losses and 1 win, and then there's this random-ass tie. It happened in the Giants back in 1997. They had a tie. It's like, ugh. They ended up 7-7 with the Redskins at the time, with Gus Frerotte banging his head into the damn wall. It ended in a 7-7 tie. I don't know about you, Mac. This game to me was awesome. It had everything. And Dak Prescott, I told you guys that guy would come out with his hair on fire this season. But people don't listen to me in anything I say, because I said he's coming off an injury. He always has a great bounce back year the next year. Go look at the stats. Every year he has a bounce back year. This year is no different. He is playing balls to the wall his best football. The Cowboys have a run game. Heck, I even think Brian Schottenheimer is a better coach for this team than Mike McCarthy ever was. But the problem is they don't know how to stop anybody on defense. And then I go to the Packers side. No offense to my colleague over here. He tells me how good this team is. And I thought that the freaking Packers, who couldn't score a damn point against the Cleveland Browns, okay, would come out here against a team, the Cowboys, in week 3, who looked absolute dog shit against Chicago Bears and absolutely boat race them. And they gave up 40 points. And I don't know what to think anymore. Because now you have the Cowboys, who know they can compete with these bad teams, the teams in their realm, the Giants, the Raiders, the Browns. They know they can compete with those teams. And on a good day, they probably beat those teams because they don't have the firepower to keep up with them. On the other hand, I look at the Packers, who are supposed to be Super Bowl bound, and they didn't look as dominant as I thought they were going to be. And to me, this is a game, again, Packers, you want to talk all this shit and walk all this walks and say that you're the cream of the crop of the NFC North? Beat the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, I'm not counting them out offensively. They may not be a good defensive team, but this team has scored 40 points. They've scored over 20 points in 3 out of their 4 games, okay? And they've scored 40 points 2 out of their 4 games, okay? This Cowboys offense can produce. They are scary good. That's how good they are. But I can't believe I witnessed that great game and it ends in a tie. I'm sorry to be on a rant, but it just, to me, shouldn't have ended that way. A game that great should have a lasting memory, not of, oh, well, win the tie.
Well, I agree to that. I agree about that. I mean, you want to see a winner, especially in a game like that. That was a great game, start to finish. Both teams out there just going back and forth. Defenses absolutely just almost non-existent
What defense?
for both teams. For both teams, obviously. I mean, both offenses just had their way in this one. I mean, I wonder how take what this Cowboy team is. This Cowboy team comes up here a game against Green Bay, a game that I don't think a lot of people gave the Cowboys much of a chance to really win. And coming off the fact that they just came off of that terrible loss to the Bears just the week prior, Caleb Williams absolutely shredding this defense apart just a week ago. I mean, it's something to say about the Cowboys responding back in such a an emotional kind of night with Micah Parsons returning, former teammate, obviously. And to me, I just say and then CD Lamb on the sideline, not able to go in this one. And that's what you get a guy like George Pickens for, because like you said up here earlier, somebody said a huge game for Pickens, beautiful bearded bastard you
I
mentioned
called
earlier.
it better than
And
Wandale
look,
Robinson. Better than Rondell Robinson.
I mean, George Pickens stepped up, and that's what's called stepping up and filling that and taking filling that void, man. CD Lamb's down, out. He's not able to go, and you got to be that number one guy. And he absolutely was. Went out there and had a big day
So let me
for
get this
Dak
straight.
Prescott, making some big catches, making big plays all over the place. And you also mentioned the running game as well. I just want to mention that Javonte Williams has also stepped up this year for this Dallas Cowboy team. He's off to a really, really strong start to this season, really doing a lot more in that run game than a lot of people probably expected as well. Keeping Miles Sanders on that bench.
Isn't he injured?
As well. No, he played. He played on Sunday night.
I thought I saw Miles injured in the game. But I want to say one thing, okay? People need to listen to what I have to say in the preseason, because I told you that George Pickens was a good player. I said him going to the Cowboys was going to be scary. I said to you guys all this. No one wanted to listen to me, and here he is. What does he do? He does what George Pickens does. Okay? When they needed him the most, he came through because he's a beast. But a certain little smurf on our team can't come down with a touchdown in the end zone. Meanwhile, George Pickens is catching things all over the yard and stepping up when his team needs him to step up. When his number one receiver goes down, when his number one player is down, he raises the bar. But no. What did we do? We took somebody who's a nobody. We could have had that guy. And I guarantee you that he will be a Cowboy for life or a long time. Jerry Jones is going to sign that man. He will, because he loves offense. They'll fix the defense as well, but he loves offense. And to pair him with what he's doing right now, I mean, the sky's the limit for George Pickens right now, because he's going to be the only guy. I have to give props to Jalen Tolbert for coming through and Kevontae Turpin for stepping up. They're playing their asses off on that offense. But you got to be kidding me. They have two number ones. And when CD Lamb comes back and they actually put it together in a few weeks, I know it'll be meaningless because their season's probably all but over because they can't stop anybody. But they'll be fun to watch. Thanksgiving will be fun when they're running up and down the field as a track meet. And we're sitting here talking about how Dak Prescott should be the MVP, but his team stinks. But I just want you to let you know about George Pickens and stand 10 toes down, because I told you that guy would be good. Oh, well, he's not good in Pittsburgh anymore, man. He's not that good anymore. He's been good since they got him. He's been nothing but reliable. Outside of one game in Chicago where the ball bounced off his hands, he's been a pretty solid addition.
Well, I mean, he definitely has been, but just one thing, something you just kind of brought up, and that's what's going to be the issue with this Dallas Cowboy team is week to week. I mean, you can't expect them to just keep going out there and putting up 40 points every week. And it seems like with as bad as this defense is, that they're going to need to put up like about 30 to 40 points every damn game. And I don't know if they can have that, if that's truly sustainable, even with the pieces they have offensively, man, with especially in the receiver room and how well Dak is playing. So I just think ultimately that's going to end up being their downfall, and that's what's going to end up crippling them, is unless this defense can figure out a way to start just being a better unit and playing better football, it's going to ultimately just continuously choke them all season, man. I think they're just going to have weeks like we saw with the Bears, and where the offense isn't quite clicking, they're going to struggle, man. This team is going to struggle. So I think right now this defense, they need to really figure out a way to get this defense a little more up to speed, because right now they can't just keep allowing the amount of points that they're giving up week in and week out so far throughout this first month of the year. They've got to figure out a way to stop somebody. Says, now Kevontae Turpin, I watched him shine with the Cowboys. He was really stepped up for the Cowboys a lot. I mean, he's one of those guys, like good gadget guys that comes in and makes a play, you know what I mean, when they need it, So he is one of those guys, and when he's on the field, when he's lined up on offense, you got to definitely account for him. So he's because he can do a lot of different things, man. They can use him out of the backfield. They can use him a lot of different ways. So he's one of those kind of players, man. Says Packers, no Mets says the Packers may be overrated too. I'm not necessarily still going to go quite yet to that extreme, but overrated. I think they are still a good team. I
They're
think
fraudulent.
they've had a couple of tough weeks though. Obviously, here, I mean, not being able to beat the Cowboys and losing to the Cleveland Browns are not good looks. But you still can't ignore what they did in the first 2 weeks of the year either. So you can't just you can't ignore that as if they're not a team that's capable of doing those kind of things. So
Yeah, but
I
if you look at the two teams they beat, they've gotten better after they've beaten them, and the Packers have gotten worse. I mean, they blew the doors off the Detroit, and now Detroit went on a
Detroit,
three game win streak, right? They lost to the Bears, or the Bears lost to them, right? And they went off and now rattled off two victories after that beatdown, right? And then what have they done? They've lost to the Browns and they've tied with the Cowboys after those dominating performances. So to me, I'm looking at this and I call them fraudulent because you can't go out here and do what you did against the Detroit Lions, who are arguably the second best team in the conference, right? And they're playing like it. Seattle may have something to say about that as we go, but you know, right now there's record-wise second best team in the conference, and they've done nothing but got better. What has the Packers done? They've gotten worse. And I don't know if it's
yeah,
the play of their quarterback. I don't know if it's their offense. But in the game against the Cowboys, they were basically dominating, and then they couldn't do anything after the Cowboys started to figure them out a little bit. And to me,
well,
go ahead.
defensively in that game was where they lacked big time in the Cowboys game. Obviously, they were cooking on offense. I mean, they were getting it done offensively. Josh Jacobs had a big day. I mean, they did what they needed to do offensively. I mean, they put up 40 points. So that's what they need. That's what you need to do offensively. Defensively, though, I think is where this team is taking a back seat from the first couple of weeks of the season, where they came out against, like you said, the high-powered Detroit Lions week one and was it Detroit week one? I can't hear.
Yeah, they made them look
They,
like they beat them 52 to
I
something.
mean,
Like it was a beatdown.
defensively they were magnificent. You know what I mean? And now it's just like these last couple of games, it's just what's going on, man. I mean, they just haven't been able to get the job done, and that's just something they need to
Micah
figure out. And they
Parsons
mean
fraudulent too.
they got a bye week to figure it out. So I mean, not to make it
I'm
about the
sorry.
Packers, but they got a bye week to figure it. They got a bye week to figure it out this week, and we'll see. I mean, we'll see. We can put them on fraud alert, but I'm still not going to call them complete fraud. I'm not personally going to call them complete fraud. I think they're still a good football team over there
I'm
in
going to
Green Bay.
change it.
I think.
Detroit's going to beat them, and it's going to be Detroit and Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game.
He says. So I watched the Cowboys and Bears game. Roma Dunze was getting the ball a lot for the Bears, and finally Caleb Williams isn't afraid to run the ball if he doesn't see any wide receivers or tight ends open. He's finally playing Caleb Williams football for the Bears. About time. Oh, he's come off two pretty solid weeks, man. So see where his development goes. But you got anything more on this Cowboys and
Nope.
Cowboys Packers game?
No.
Sunday night football, yeah. And you do need to figure out something because we don't want to see games like this ending in tie. What's going on too, by the way? Colts, Cowboys, man. I don't know what's up with your boys' defense, man, but offensively they can put up points with anybody, man. Offensively, I
They
give
need
them
to
that.
keep Kenneth Murray, though. That's what they need to do.
Oh, absolutely. He is pretty much all they got defensively. That I mean, right now
Samson sucks. That
that's
guy's terrible.
it's playing consistently anyway. As far as consistent play, I mean Murphy is all they got, or Murray, whatever. But let's get to it, man. Let's get to the debut, man. Get to the debut in MetLife Stadium, man. I'm sitting in the airport watching this game, man. I was chilling in the airport, had it locked in on my phone, man, watching this entire football game. Not the way I really prefer to watch it, but hey, that's what I had to do. But New York Giants and Los Angeles Chargers at MetLife Stadium, man. The debut of Jackson Dart, Adam. What you got?
What do I got? Let me paint the picture for you. Start Jackson Dart. I've been banging that table since July. I know some people in this chat think I was not a fan of Jackson Dart. That is completely and utterly wrong. I even went back to the tape and watched back in April what I said. I thought that he might have needed development because everybody on the hype train told me that he needed development. I watched him. I watched tons of film on him. Come July, I said he should start over Russell Wilson. I got blowback. Oh, we need to listen to the process, and we need Russell Wilson, and he was good with Pittsburgh. I told you he was ass. I told you he was bad. I told you he was bad.
Well, look, just to clear some things up, so we do understand. Adam has always been a Jackson Dart guy. He's been a pro Jackson Dart guy. He has been. Throughout the whole, even back the draft process, everything. I mean, yeah, he's been a draft. He's been a Dart guy. Definitely a lot more than me. Like when the draft happened back in April, I wasn't a big fan of the pick. I wasn't. However, like I said, like I've been saying throughout the process, watching Jackson Dart work, I became, a lot more, became more of a fan. I still also coming into the start of the season, still was on the Russell Wilson needs to start, train. I was like, that's where I was at with it. I was like, I still believe that Jackson Dart needed to start. I mean that Russell Wilson needed to start the season out and see how things go at least. I'm definitely off of that train as well. Jackson Dart is the guy. And now that we done got the locomotive running, and that's what we're going with, point blank and period. So but at the end of the day, I want to clear that up. That I know I definitely was not. I didn't necessarily hate Jackson Dart, so to speak. I just wasn't a fan of the pick back in April, like I said. But he did win me over.
Let's do it. From the kid. AC didn't come around sooner. Let me break it down for you. No, Mets. I knew of Jackson Dart because I even said to pick him at 3 because there was one mock draft that came out that said Jackson Dart by Charles Davis was going to be the 3rd overall pick. And I said, if you can't get Shedeur Sanders, who I liked, and Cam Ward was actually my number 1 if you were actually listening, no Mets, but that's okay. That's cool. Go back to the tapes. Cam Ward was not my number 1. But I said, I thought Shedeur Sanders would be taken by the Browns. And I said, if Jackson Dart is there at 3, take him. People were like, oh, you got to do this. I said, if he's there, because the reason I said that was because I was worried that the Giants were going to fuck around and find out like they did the other day, last year, where they thought Bo Nix was going to be there in the second round and all this stuff, and they got jumped. So I said, if you believe in that guy, take him. I studied Dart from start to finish. I even said on shows the reason why he would be possibly a Giant on the radar, because they had Eli Manning ties, because he was from Ole Miss, because they went down and watched his pro day. They had him in for a lot of visits. I didn't come around sooner. I had Jackson Dart on my radar for 2 years. And it wasn't not feeling Dart. I don't know what. Go ask anybody I talked to about Dart. Chris Bucco, Zion Zenith, Mac, Alex, we talked about this guy.
Nah, Jackson Dart was spoken highly of by Adam a lot. He has been. He definitely was. I mean, so he was definitely higher on. Like, I think what you're mistaking him not liking the Jackson Dart is with the fact that I think he did maybe have a preference to Shedeur Sanders for a little. I think maybe, but that's not disliking Jackson Dart though. That's taking the things out of context, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's not that he didn't like Jackson Dart. He just didn't have him ranked above.
I didn't criticize the regime at number 3. So
another
everything that you're talking about, no Mets, I did not have opposed. I told them to pick him at 3. I fought people over Abdul Carter because I said, if Jackson Dart's your guy, don't waste time fucking around. That's what I said. I know what I said because I studied these quarterbacks. And I had Cam Ward ranked number 1. I said, Shedeur Sanders, if he's there, get him at 2. But my third choice was Jackson Dart. And I had a feeling the Giants were going to get that guy. And once he was here from April on, all I've been doing is talking about that guy starting. And why? Because look what he did on Sunday. He had a phenomenal game on Sunday, right? He had a better game than Daniel Jones' debut. And even though the numbers don't indicate how good of a game he had, the things he did in that game won us that game. If the Giants had Russell Wilson, who a lot of you people were banging the table for to start, who I said Dart should start from week 1, we would have lost that game. And so here we are watching a guy mature as we speak. Did he get beat up in the game? Yes. Did he hold the ball too long? Yes, but people are criticizing that. Here's why I think it's stupid. Because I'd rather have him hold the ball too long than throw a turnover, right? Get sacked, live another day, punt the ball away. Isn't that a fair assessment? So even though he got sacked 6 times and apparently 4 of them are on him, I'd rather have him take those sacks in decision time. We can worry about that in the next year to get better at it. But right now, week one, I don't. My main goal is make you comfortable, do enough for us to win the football game, and don't lose it, kid. Well, guess what? He won it for us with his energy, with his play, with his start, with basically his football acumen. So his football acumen. Let me get out of here, bro. I said to pick him at 3. If they didn't want to pick him at 3, that was their choice. And if they lost out on him, I would have been pissed off if they lost out on the quarterback. Don't tell me what I said, bro. I'm tired of this. So this is what I'm saying. And now, speaking of his hamstring, the only thing I'll say about him, he's got swagoo. That's what we were talking about. He's got swagoo. He's the only quarterback I've seen dance in the end zone. He helped win that team, and he brought a new life to the offense because look what it did for Scatterboo. Scatterboo had running lanes out the wazoo. He made plays with his legs and his arms. That 54-yard run, that was a thing of beauty. I'm damn it, JMS and Holden, because I really wanted him to have that. I thought it was a great victory for the kid, and I'm looking forward to Sunday. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm in the driver's seat. Go JD.
Yeah, I'm feeling you. I'm right there with you, Lou Wig, man. Lou Wig. I don't know how to pronounce your name right, Lou Wig. But
it's Ludwig. It's just called Lud.
Lud, all right. Sanders was my guy too. That's why I wanted. That's how I was. I was pro Sanders.
No Mets
for the pick. I was pro Sanders for the pick, and but Dart won me over, just point blank and period. Like I've said, I mean, I wasn't high on the pick that on draft night, but over the time period from then till now, he's completely won me over, man. And I'm happy he's here. Tudo, what's going on? I appreciate you stopping in as always.
I was not, bro. I knew all the quarterbacks. Stop talking to me, no Mets.
We're talking about the NFC East, talking about the Giants, man. That's all we doing, man. Talking right now. Good to have you here, Tudo. Always appreciate you.
Well, he got out of the sack. He threw the ball away. I want to say this though: our receiving corps sucks. Okay, outside of Malik Neighbors, we ain't got nobody. Okay, they weren't getting open. They weren't doing anything. This kid was buying time with his leg. He was even telling Darius Slayton to come back on the route. Darius Slayton wasn't even looking at the ball.
Well, look, let's talk about the game in general, because what we got from the game. You're right. I mean, Malik Neighbors going down. We haven't even touched on that at all yet with the ACL. So now we got Giants have to figure out what they're going to do.
No, Mets, keep moving.
What they're going to do at the receiver position.
I do remember what I said, bro.
Obviously, no one else has showed an ability to step up in the game on Sunday. Jackson Dart did play a great game. Statistically, the numbers look kind of pedestrian, passing wise, statistically. But at the end of the day, and part of that's what was just like I said, no one's showed an ability to step up. I didn't even realize Jalen Hyatt played the amount of snaps that he played on Sunday. I didn't even realize he was on the field that much. And the fact that he didn't even get targeted, that tells you everything you need to know about Jalen Hyatt right now.
I'm getting a game-worn jersey from Jalen Hyatt. It's not going to be dirty.
Any expectations from him at all? Wandale Robinson had an opportunity to make a huge play. Jackson Dart made a great play down there in the red zone, man, just buying time with his legs, and throwing a pass that Wandale Robinson absolutely needed to come down.
You got to catch that.
You gotta make that play for your quarterback. When your quarterback is able to keep a play alive in that fashion, and he gets that ball and is able to deliver that pass to you, got to make that play, man. So really upset in that situation there, Wandale Robinson down there. You got it, because right now with Malik Neighbors out, this is obviously going to be a committee thing. It's not going to. There's not any standout receiver on this team that's going to be like a number one receiver. We have no number one receiver now at all, and guys got to start stepping up and making plays and figuring it out, man. They just really do. I'm trying to figure out what that's going to come from. Me and Adam were talking about this a little bit before the show started. We were. Something I noticed in fantasy football, because I play a lot of fantasy football. And I actually have Wandale Robinson on one of my squads, and I want to say that I've noticed that his rankings have gone up this week a lot, and it's making me wonder, like, damn, do the insiders know something? Like, the Giants, are they really going to try to push and try to actually make Wandale Robinson like a number one receiver? I just don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what it is, but something I have knows that his fantasy rankings for this week in particular have gone up a lot. So, and the Giants they didn't bring anybody in. So what is the
Little
actual
Jordan
plan?
Humphreys, baby. Little
I mean,
Jordan Humphreys.
oh, they did elevate Lil Jordan Humphries? I didn't even realize. So,
No, they. I'm
oh,
sure that's what they're going to do. But
oh,
people
well,
are saying Odell Beckham Jr. It's hard because Wandale Robinson, first off, is ass. Okay, he's for a second round pick. He is ass. You got to come down with that catch, regardless of it. George Pickens would have came down with that catch. George Pickens would have came down with that TD. But no, we got Wandale Robinson. You know what the problem with Wandale Robinson is? Is that they said they had actual plays for him, and I ain't never seen them do no end arounds. I don't see them do anything to get this guy in space like a punt returner. Same thing with Jalen Hyatt. I mean, they even do jet sweeps with Xavier Worthy. Hell, they did a jet sweep with some guy that hadn't even played for Kansas City in the game against the Giants. This guy hadn't played. Jalen Royal, I think his name was. He hadn't seen a goddamn snap all year, and he gets a fucking end around. We can't get a guy who has 4.2 speed on the field in any capacity. We can't find a guy in Wandale Robinson who was drafted and, quote, Joe Shane, I guess I got to go back and watch videos, he said, we're going to have a plan for this guy. Well, where's the fucking plan? Because I don't see shit. That guy should have stepped up. Where is he? Darius Slayton is Darius fucking Slayton. That guy's a 5th round pick. I don't know what you guys are expecting out of that guy. I don't know what you guys think that you're going to get out of him. He is who he is. It doesn't matter the quarterback. Sometimes you just are who you are. Okay? Darius Slayton had every opportunity in this game to be a better Darius Slayton, and it didn't show up. Okay? And it's not like he hasn't had opportunities. We are in game number 5. And I barely heard his name called. Why? Because he's not that good. He's good for a deep ball here, a deep ball there in the Dallas game when they're covering nobody.
well,
You
hold
could
on
have got
before you get too deep in the act, because I always gotta play a little devil's advocate a little bit here. All right, now maybe perhaps
perhaps
going into this game, obviously against the Chargers, Malik Neighbors was initially out there, obviously before he got hurt in the second quarter. Now and obviously you have a game plan formulated, prepared, as Malik Neighbors being the guy as he is. So perhaps some of this is on coaching as well. You know what I mean? Like you got to figure out a way to get these other guys more involved or whatever you're doing.
True.
And perhaps maybe they'll be more prepared, knowing that obviously you're not going to have Malik Neighbors this week with some of those guys like the Slaytons or the one. Like I said, I mean, maybe they'll be a little more prepared to just understand the situation. At the same time, it's still not really much of an excuse because to me, you still got to step up and do what you got to do at the end of the day, and nobody showed any signs of that. I mean, Jackson Dart was making really like the shovel pass to Theo Johnson. That's stuff like that. We haven't seen things like that in the New York Giant offense, man, because it just haven't seen a quarterback that just played with that kind of confidence we saw this young man play with.
Funny little nothing about that play. Because apparently he told Dable and Johnson that if we get that look, I need you to sit down in that play. That was him relaying to the coach what he liked, which makes me wonder what the fuck was Daniel Jones thinking? If this guy can come in 2 weeks and dissect one play and change the whole offensive play to what he likes, what the fuck was that guy doing? The second thing you said about coaching is also a reason why this team stinks offensively. Can't do shit.
No, just one thing I want, because I had this comment highlighted for a minute, says Wandale too small down there. I tend to agree to a certain extent, but that's still not an excuse. That ball was right in his hands.
That ball was in his hands.
You got to still squeeze that. You got to make that play for your quarterback. But with that being said, that also comes back to what I'm talking about with coaching and whoever's making the decisions here, the roster management, man. Like look, at what point do you want to we have no real true we have no true red zone targets, man. Like we don't have those those like a guy that to me stands out as what could be a red zone threat, and yet we have a guy on the roster that hasn't gotten a uniform yet this season. And I mean, what's it hurt to even give him a shot one week and see? Because I think he could have been like a guy like that could have been a factor down there. And I'm talking about our 7th-round draft pick in Thomas Fedoni at tight end. I mean, I just feel like this guy in the preseason made enough plays and showed that there's something that he can bring to the table, man. And at what point,
Johnson's no slouch either. I mean, he's like 6'5".
Like what point do we just give these guys opportunities? Because honestly, that play went to Wandale and they did him in his hands, and he still should have made the play. But ideally, schematically, is that really the kind of way you want in that situation that you will really be looking to go? Are the good coaches scheming that up necessarily?
If you watch that play. If you watch that play, Wandale's in the backfield or whatever and gets bully balled by whatever linebacker is there. And only because of him continuing into the end zone and Jackson Dart making a move was Wandale Robinson open. He was schemed in the backfield and got basically railroaded on the play, and the linebacker left him to go make the sack on Dart, and he missed it, and there he is. What doesn't make any sense to me is the play calling sucks still. They don't. You're bringing over what you're saying is about you're giving too much excuse for Darius Slayton, but I do agree with you. The play calling is lackluster. Okay, Darius Slayton is who he is. He's been here 7 years, right? I understand the difference in quarterbacks and scheme. It's not like they didn't know about Malik Neighbors not being there. They had Malik Neighbors didn't play all summer. Okay, so they didn't practice all summer with Malik Neighbors. He was out of the game because he was injured. It's not like he didn't know what the plays were or anything like that. He needs to step up in these moments because it wasn't like they didn't know what to do without him. They had training camp. He was the guy in training camp. And even in training camp, he was pedestrian. The play calling, however, is something that needs to be addressed. Why are we not running fade routes to Theo Johnson? Why is Fedoni not in the game? Why do I still have to see man hurts? Okay, why are we not running a screenplay? Why are we not elevating guys like Otobro Miller who could help out with the speed of the game? Okay, like the roster construction is still this team. What we need to forget, even though we won, we can't forget Brian Dable still sucks as a coach. Like he still sucks as a coach, and we could have easily lost that game if our defense didn't play out of its mind. I got to give kudos to the defense for stepping up. Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns. Burns is playing. He heard me. I needed that guy to pay like he's worth $150 million. He's playing that way. Kayvon Thibodeau's having a good year.
In the league
Abdul Carter is not necessarily the specimen that Micah was, but he is disrupting on his own volition, and he did cause some of those turnovers from Justin Herbert. I like where he's going. Our linebackers, Okereke is absolute ass. I'll tell you why. One, he's not in this scheme, and two, he has a bad back. Okay, he had a back injury last year that let him out the game. That's the reason why he was on IR. You don't come back from that as a linebacker. He's not been good at all. Our secondary has been okay. Phillips plays better when he's not targeted on the field a lot. Dante Banks, we found a position for him. Let him be a kick returner because that's where he's most deadly. He's still not good in coverage, still losing people. That Quentin Johnson touchdown was a thing of beauty, but you got to do better than that. Dane Belton's a waste. Tyler Newman needs to take better angles. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you can't commit that hard. But other than that, I thought the front seven finally played up to expectation, and it really helped the Giants win this game. And it helps when you have a lead. It helps when your offense can move the football. And the one thing that I will say that Jackson Dart did help with is third downs and extending drives. When Russell Wilson came in the game, he got completely destroyed. I laughed. We brought him in the game for 1-2 plays or whatever it was. He had a pass and then he got sacked. Like, what the heck is this guy doing? So I want to see if this season goes off the rails, because I think they should beat the next game. But I still think this team is going to be limited down the stretch offensively. And we're going to find out how good of an offensive coordinator Brian Dable is. Because, like you said,
that's what it comes down to. They need to open the playbook up offensively. Something like I said, what pissed me off in the red zone in this game with the red zone offense, in particular the red zone offense, is when you get down there and it's like you just get so fucking conservative. Like, stop that. put the confidence in this kid's hands and his abilities to make some plays. Because like we were talking about the Wandale play, that was a fourth down play, by the way, the one the Wandale dropped. That was a fourth down play. Yes, that was fourth down. That was fourth down. Third down, the play call on third down, they had a fucking stacked box, and you're calling a quarterback draw in that situation. Like, no. Put the ball, let your quarterback make a play, man. Give him a real opportunity to make some things happen. And to me, that shit, the play calling was absolutely atrocious. And to me, that's what almost made this game slip away, was because the play calling was so bad. You gotta, when you get down in those red zones, you get in the red zone, you gotta score touchdowns. You did score a touchdown off the Drew Phillips turnover, but you got big sexy Dexy, man, getting his first career interception and rumbling and fumbling and doing everything he could until he got actually tackled by Justin Herbert of all people. But right down there and like at like the 5-yard line, it's like, come on, man, you gotta put that in the end zone. You can't be settling for 3 in those situations. That's what this team has to get better at. You have to be more aggressive in the red zone, and you got to put it in the end zone a lot more than what we're doing when we're down there, man. You got to cash in, and this football team is just not doing that. And I do agree. I mean, I've been defending Tyler Newman as much as anybody, but this dude, that angle on that big Amarion Hampton run, that's egregious, bro. You can't do that. You got to be better, man. So. At the same time, front seven did absolutely play great. Abdul Carter, man, people can say what they want about the lack of actual sacks. The disruption he is causing every week is still something to be said about that. It might not show up on the stat sheet quite the same way, but this guy has been disruptive all through this first month of the season. Very disruptive. And he had Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was like he was in Justin Herbert's face the entire game. He just couldn't quite get those sacks. And I think we're going to see that this week. We're going to get that this week. I believe we're going to, because he's not playing a Justin Herbert at quarterback this week. He's not playing against, Patrick Mahomes, those guys that had that savvy to get rid of the football once he gets there. So I think you're going to see Abdul Carter maybe perhaps cash in this week and maybe even get a couple of sacks. Honestly, I can see it happening against Spencer Rattler-led New Orleans Saints team, man. So just got to be patient when it comes to that. People are trying to say what they want. And Darius Alexander out there once again starting to show some improvement, folks. That's what we talking about. Can't be prematurely throwing a bust word out there. You got to give guys an opportunity. He didn't make anything, no play necessarily that jumped off the page at you, but he was also pretty disruptive out there while he was playing probably the best football we've seen him play in a Giants uniform thus far as well. So you just got to be patient with these guys, man. And think things are going to start happening. Like you said, Kayvon Thibodeau having a great year. Brian Burns leading the league in sacks right now. So we can't really say much more great things about that unit. And I would like to see the run defense still tighten up. It has to get better, man. That still wasn't, to me, people can say, oh, it was only those 2 big runs that Mario Hampton had. Guess what? He had those 2 big runs. They count. It has to be better. You cannot be giving up. You just can't give up plays like that on the ground against teams, man. And this league, and expect to be able to win a lot of football games, giving up those kind of big plays. So other than that, man, I'm happy for the win. I love the fact that we were able to go out there and beat a 3-0 football team. Win at home in front of your home fans. The fans don't have to wait until January to get December or January to get a home victory this season. So, props to the Giants on that one. You didn't make the home fans wait all year to give them a home win. That was a great one for anybody that went out to that game and was there live. That was a great one to be that. The Giants wire-to-wire victor winners. Jackson Dart, I think, is the future, man. I don't want to put too much on him after just one game, but what I saw a guy that looks like he is the future. He looks like he is it. He stays, as long as he stays healthy, he is it. That guy has it. He has it between the ears. And he has it. He has the physical traits, and he's just a damn good football player. And like I said, as much as I was down on the pick back in April, I am so glad we made a choice to pick Jackson Dart. It looks like right now, because he is the guy, and I'm happy to see where he goes. And I think even everything we've been talking about with our mediocre receiver situation that we got going on in New York right now, I think Jackson Dart's the kind of guy that will be able to bring something out of these guys They got to make the plays, though. I think he will put them in position to be successful.
I think you're going to see him have a big game this week against the New Orleans team. I am worried about New Orleans defense. They are pretty good, and they kept up with Buffalo. So they're looking at the Giants as a chance to get the win, and they cannot let Spencer Rattler beat them. Okay, like you said, if we lose to the New Orleans Saints, you might as well leave Brian Dable in New Orleans because you can't be overlooking this team. Because remember, they're also preparing for the Eagles this week. They're not just preparing for New Orleans; they're preparing for the Eagles as well. And to me, that's where it gets dicey if people start to feel themselves a little bit and start to look at an 0-4 football team and say we're better than them. Just go out and handle your business. I think he gives us a chance to win for many of the things that you said, right? One of them is just football IQ. He understands the moment. It's not too big for him. What Sunday's performance showed me is he's more than capable of navigating a football game. And not only that, at one point he was the best player on the field at one point, right? He was literally that guy. And I feel the Giants have a budding star as long as they, don't worry about the coaching tree and all this stuff and all that shit. We have a guy here that is going to get past the coaching. He's going to be better than that. Eli Manning had many different coaches, right? They're going to find the right mix, and this kid is going to show you once. Think of Josh Allen. He's going to be like that. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Allen. I think he's going to be more of a Baker Mayfield type. What I'm saying is, think of that guy's presence and how he elevated and got better every year. We're finally going to not be. We're being talked about as a quarterback with actual legitimate skills. Doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel good that people don't make excuses for his play? That his play does the talking? That his play elevates everybody else? This is what a franchise quarterback does, people. It makes everybody around him better. They feel the energy. They ride off that shit. Because what he does to set the tone. Enjoy the ride, folks, because we're going to win on Sunday, and it's going to be a fun ride this season. We may not win a lot of games, but it's going to be fun while we do it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And before we wrap this little segment up here, no Mets. I think I know exactly what play you're talking about. I agree. Abdul Carter should have been awarded a sack on that play. To me, that was crazy. Years ago, I don't know if this is not a rule anymore in the NFL, but years ago, I mean, there was a rule called in the grasp, and when you pretty much had a quarterback dead to rights, they didn't really allow the quarterback just to kind of fling the ball as you were as they were getting twisted to the ground. They would kind of pretty much rule it dead, and it would be
that's because guys like Mahomes.
And that play you're talking about, yeah, Abdul Carter had him dead to rights. He was pretty much twisting Herbert to the ground, and Herbert just kind of flung the ball, was able to fling the ball, and it didn't count as a sack, obviously, for Abdul Carter. So I do know what you're talking about, and I'm not sure how they call that, if they just flat out don't call it anymore or whatever it is.
But it's hard because they only call it like when the guy's like wrapped up in front of you, like if you grab him from the front. Because what's happening is you got guys like Mahomes. You've seen Mahomes literally on a guy throw a ball over his head to a receiver. So how can you call him the grasp? At that point. At that point, how are you doing that? So I think that's really why it's gone the way that we've talked about, is because yes, I get it. Like you had the Troy Aikmans of the world, you had there's other guys who are kind of not as mobile in the grasp, right? But now Mahomes has changed that because he can move it around, because he throws the ball. I've seen that guy literally falling to the ground, parallel to the ground with somebody on him, throw a friggin' like first down pass. And how am I gonna as a ref, how am I gonna, call that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I do that? Because if I call that and it's a crucial play in the game and it ends up nothing was happening, it's like in basketball, the continuation. At what point does the continuation happen on the foul, right? Like when do you call that? You call it too early, the guy makes the basket, now it's a floor foul, as opposed to if the guy just letting it play out and seeing the continuation when you see the foul, right? That's basically what it is.
Real quick, just yeah, I don't know. It's, to me, for what it's worth, let's go. We can go back to Super Bowl 42, and if they could have ruled Eli dead if they didn't give him a chance to get out. To get out, you know what I mean, and make that phenomenal play of David Tyree. So at the same time, I guess it just is what it is. When it comes to something like that. But I do agree. I thought that should have been ruled a sack. I felt like he had him pretty much, and Justin Herbert just kind of flung the ball just to avoid it being a sack. What's going on, Lou? Man, all we about to do left is preview these games, and then we getting ready to be up out of here, man. This week, bro. But try to get you on another time, man. But we get ready to be done probably in like 10 minutes, 10, 15 more minutes tops. So, but what was I going to say? Yeah, you had any final thoughts on this game at all, Adam? Before we go to preview the matchups for this week.
I want to say this: people, buckle up, enjoy the journey, because we aren't going to be 6 years of a bad quarterback. We're going to have something special is about to be brewing. You'll see.
Yeah, all right. So let's get to it. Once we talk about the New York Giants, let's go to that. Talk about them. Talk about this game this week. Saints, man. New Orleans Giants. Uh, I thought this was going to be the only game on the Giants schedule that the Giants were favored in. Apparently, Las Vegas sees it differently. As Giants are coming in this as I think 1.5 point underdogs to the New Orleans Saints. The 0 and are they 0 and 4? Yeah, they 0 and 4 New Orleans Saints. I mean, yes, granted, the New York Giants do not have a good history playing down in the Superdome, but I just think just a different energy, different team, different circumstances than normal, and I just think that we're a flat out better football team, even though our 1-3 record is we're only one game better than them technically in the standings. I just feel like we're a better football team. We still played overall a little bit better football than this New Orleans Saints team. And how do you see it, Adam?
I think they should win. Will they win is a different story, but I think they should win. I don't think they're the underdogs. They might be the underdogs in Vegas, but you know they they should be the favorites by Vegas. But amongst Giant fans, you should be excited. This is a team you actually can beat, and you should beat. And if you don't beat, we have other problems and other issues, right? What I will say is this: if by some chance the Cinderella story, the clock strikes midnight on Jackson Dart this week because they're starting to get a little more tape on him, or they put some pressure and he makes some mistakes, it's okay. It's okay. Like if he costs me the game, I'm not going to be mad. However, if the defense can't stop this offense and get us off the field and really I'm not saying have their way, because Saints are a solid team. They think they're going to match up well with us. I mean,
They
they
got a
gave the
couple
Buffalo
weapons.
Bills they gave
Couple
the
weapons
Buffalo
over there.
Bills some fits, right? So maybe they're looking at the Buffalo game saying, "Look, we were in it till the end." I don't know how Kellen Moore is going to motivate his team, but they have a chance, and they're thinking in the Superdome they have a chance to win. So the Giants got to go down there and handle business. They cannot be, like I said, overlooking them to the Eagle game, saying, "Look, we just beat up on this 3-0 Charger team. Let's go. We're ready to go. Let's go beat up in Philadelphia." And this roadblock that they step in, this pothole, you don't want to overlook, because it'll flatten your tire if you're not careful, right? And you don't want to get a flat tire on this journey. So I'm hoping that they do what they got to do. I'm hoping to see them air it out a little bit. I want to see if this receiving core can do something, because this game will be telling to me. Because if they can't get Wandell or Darius Slayton or any of these guys involved, it's going to be a long season. We played better defense after better defense after better. After Philadelphia comes a tough Denver defense, then back to Philadelphia. Then I think you play, I forget who you play after that, but it's another strong defensive team. And when you don't have to worry about Malik Neighbors and you're only worried about, one thing, we have to see if they overcome. You can't just let Jackson Dart be the only guy making plays on the team, because at some point they're going to be able to stop him, and we need him to do it. But I like this duo, like you said, Jackson Dart and Scatterboo. I think they're good together. And please, people, stop telling me that Scatterboo is a fullback. Can you get off that nonsense? This guy's a running back. Okay, I don't know
He
if you guys
absolutely
watched this
is.
film. He's a running back. Okay, he blocks the run. The one thing I would like to see him do is get a pass play out there. I want to see him catch a couple passes out of the backfield. I like to see that. But he's a every down back in my eyes. He's a bell cow, and I really enjoy it. They should beat the Saints. I'm picking the Giants this week.
Yeah, I'm going with it. I'm going with the G-men for the first time this year, I believe, too. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think it might be. Oh, no, the second time. I
No, we
actually
picked
picked them
them.
to
We
beat.
picked them last week.
I didn't pick them against the
We picked
Chargers.
them. We picked them. We picked them against the Chargers last week. You and I were both excited about the Jackson Dart era. I picked
I
Jackson Dart.
still didn't.
You picked
I'm pretty
Jackson
sure I
Dart.
didn't. Pretty sure I
Well,
didn't.
well, fine then.
Oh, you mean Zion? Maybe you and Zion. Remember you were with Zion
Oh
last week.
shit! Yes, it was Zion. You
Yeah,
weren't on the show last
see,
week.
I was on vacation last week. See,
Oh,
Zion.
damn it! It was Zion who picked him.
But yeah, I'm going with the G-men though. I just think this is going to be a big game for Jackson Dart. I think Cam Scatterbo is one more really solid game away from claiming RB1 duties. No matter what happens when Tracy comes back, I think Abdul Carter is going to have his breakout game as far as getting a sack or two maybe against Spencer Rattler. I think it's going to be a good day for the G-men down in the Bayou. And hopefully these receivers can wake up and make some plays for their young quarterback. Hopefully they can do that. So we'll see. And you do got to keep in mind the Saints do have a couple of playmakers, man. Still makes plays, capable. Why am I forgetting his name from the running back's name for some reason? Alvin Kamara. He's still very capable of making some plays. Chris Olave, the other receiver, the deep threat, Rashid Shaheed or whatever his name is. These guys can still they make plays sometimes down there in New Orleans.
They're going to figure out how to utilize those guys.
Can't sleep on them, man. Can't sleep on them, and you can't. And pass rush has to get there. I think this is the difference. With a quarterback like Spencer Rattler, this pass rush can affect him the way they've been affecting everybody else all season. This is so far right to this point the worst quarterback we've gone against, and we should be able to really affect the game with a dominant pass rush in this one if we can get that going. So, let's go ahead and put the heat on Spencer Rattler's ass, and I think that Giants should come out of this one successful. But next up, man, who we got next, man? Let's talk about it. Who we got? Who's up next? The Eagles and the Broncos. Let's talk Eagles and Broncos. In Philly. This is going to be a tough defensive battle, man. I think it's going to come down to whatever offense can wake up and make some plays here. How do you see this one playing out?
I think the Eagles are going to win, but I think it's going to be a tough game because the Broncos defense is a tough defense. But they've had their struggles the first couple games, but last week they kind of put the clamps down on a bad, Cincinnati Bengals. Unfortunately, again, thankfully the Giants are probably going to be better, but the Bengals with Jake Browning, they put the clamps down, so they got some confidence. They're 2-2. They probably believe they should be 3-1 at least. And I think they're going to give Philadelphia a run for the money. But again, Philadelphia just finds ways to win games, and I think it holds true here. And I think they find a way to beat the Denver Broncos.
And to agree with you, just for the same purpose. I think we're going to probably, because the Broncos defense is good. So I'm not going to expect the Eagles to have that offensive explosion this week necessarily, you know what I mean, against the defense. But I think that when it comes down to it, like you just said, they're just going to find a way and figure it out and get the job done, man, and do what they've been doing and move on to 5-0. There's Bo Nix coming off a really good game a week ago, whoever they played against, this past week.
The Bengals.
I
think it was the Bengals.
Okay, it was. Now that you mentioned it was. And he had a really good game out there against Cincinnati. But this Eagles, it's different animals. Eagles team are a completely different animal. And
Bengals are a wounded animal.
And so I don't know. I don't see him being able to be quite that productive this week. And I think that the Eagles ultimately make enough plays to get the job done. So I'm just going to have to go with the Eagles there, man. But Cowboys going to MetLife, taking on the New York Jets. The 0-4 New York Jets. The Cowboys coming in at 1-2-1. Adam, how do you see this one going?
The Jets are going to be 0-5 because they are worse defense than the damn Cowboys. And the Jets turned the ball over last week a lot. And I think if you do that with a team that's going to score 40 points, right, a game like the Cowboys can do, this plays in the Cowboys' favor. I don't believe they'll do what they did against Chicago and kind of underestimate the Chicago Bears. I think they'll be able to have their way with the Jets, and I think their offense can win them the game. I think they'll. I think it's going to be another boat race where I don't think the Jets can hang with teams that score. They're going to have to find other ways to score. They're going to have to play fucking defense. Let's be honest. They haven't played defense. All right. And the Cowboys are going to I just think this matchup favors them and what they're doing. And let me see. I don't want to put my money where my mouth is, but, or put my foot in my mouth. But Brian Schottenheimer had a good game against the Giants, had a good game against the Eagles, good game against the Giants, had a weird game against the Bears, called a good game against the Green Bay Packers. I need to see him do that again because I do believe this team operates differently offensively with him than Mike McCarthy. I don't know what it is, if it's Mike McCarthy and how he call plays, but they just do things differently. They get guys like Cavante Turpin the ball on an end around and get him in open space. They get guys like Jalen Tolbert involved in tight end screens and George Pickens one-on-one. They find matchups. They have a really decent run game. So I really believe they're going to come out, and I wouldn't say dominate, but I think the Cowboys get their second win and really kind of, these are the games that you're going to see the Cowboys beat. Teams like the Raiders, teams like the Jets, they're going to be, if they can win some of those games, they can be in the race as well down the stretch. They may not get to the playoffs, but they'll be able to rattle off 7-8 wins if they can do that.
Well, these are definitely the games the Cowboys can't afford to drop if they want to stay competitive in the NFC East division. But you know me, I gotta pick my upset special, man. This is upset special week, man. I'm going with the Jets here, and I think Justin Fields, contrary to this, comment here, no Mets, I think he's going to be the difference maker in this game. I think the Cowboys are going to struggle to contain Justin Fields with his legs, and he's going to break that defense down. And I think he's going to make a few big plays in this game that swing this game in the direction for a New York Jets victory, man. Coming off this emotional tie against this past Sunday night from the Cowboys against the Green Bay Packers, I think the Jets get the upset this week, man, and get their first win of the season.
Well, the only pushback I'll give you is that if you are a football fan, I'm the Cowboys, you got to look at both teams. And you got to look at that. You went toe-to-toe with arguably one of the best teams in football. And the Jets could not even hang with the Miami Dolphins, who have been playing awful, right? And lost their starting receiver in the game, made Darren Waller look like a Hall of Famer. So while I want to believe in your upset special, right, I want to get behind it, the Jets haven't done anything to prove to me that they can even sniff it. Like if it was the Cleveland Browns playing the thing with Dylan Gabriel, I'd be like, you know what? I'm on that train with you. But Justin Fields, he, as much as he gives, he takes away as well, right? He'll give back to the other team, and I think he'll put a couple on the carpet this week because he's going to try to do too much, and just going to not. I don't see you're upset, but hey, if you get it right, you'll be the genius, and that's why they'll call you Mac. And
I'll pick a couple of these, and the Cowboys do this, man. I mean, because
you're right.
They had that Bears L. Granted a couple weeks ago, but the Bears are.
There's that Arizona game last year.
They're a so team, yeah.
There was that game last year. I remember we were on this stream. I think it was against Arizona, and the Arizona Cardinals were awful. And you're like, oh, the Cowboys are going to get that one go. They're going to drop one here, and. I sit there and I'm like, there's no way they lose to the Cardinals. And they come back and they can't make a kick or something like that. And they end up losing to the Cardinals. And I'm like, this is one of those this has one of those Mac feels where, you're gonna pick this game and all of a sudden they're gonna win. So
no Mets, man, real quick. The Mets are a disgrace. I was actually happy that they didn't sneak into the postseason because they didn't deserve to be in the postseason. When you play that horribly the second half of the season like they did, you don't deserve to be in the postseason. And so they're an embarrassment. their line, like I said, their lineup is too good for their lineup was too good this year for things to go the way they did. And honestly, it wasn't even so much on their lineup. It was more the pitch, the starting pitching, the relief, everything. The whole pitching, the pitching was a mess for this New York team, for this Mets team this season, man. And like I said, they're just a disgrace. But I won't be switching sides, bro. I'm loyal to a fault, no matter how good, bad, or indifferent. This is just the way they started the season off, how great they were start the year. You can't fall apart the way they did. So they didn't deserve it. And I'm glad Cincinnati Reds were able to overtake them and get that last playoff spot because the Mets didn't deserve to be there anyway. But we got one more game to talk about real quick, and that is the Washington Commanders going out on the West Coast to play the Los Angeles Chargers. And what is going on? I'm gonna mute your mic for a second. I can mute your mic for a second, Adam. I don't know what's going on. All that noise in the background, bro. Yeah, the Los Angeles Chargers going hosting the Washington Commanders. Should be getting Jaden Daniels back. It looks like they should be getting Jaden Daniels back, and hopefully Terry McLaurin. So hopefully the offense can look a little bit more efficient, even though it hasn't really been too bad the last couple of weeks with Marcus Mariota offensively for this team. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Washington. I think Washington. I don't know if they're going to. The Chargers coming off a tough loss. Obviously, the Chargers coming off a tough loss to the New York Giants. Obviously, I don't know, and Washington coming off a tough loss as well to the Falcons. Two teams that looking to rebound. I think the Chargers are a little bit better, to be honest, and I think that the Chargers will figure out their offensive line situation with having a whole week to get ready and prepare for it. And I think they'll be able to rebound and make some plays, and Herbert will get back to that looking like the MVP that he's been looking like throughout the first month of the season. What's your feelings, Adam?
I think the Chargers are gonna win. I think they're gonna be angry for the loss they had with the Giants, a game they probably thought they should have won, and maybe underestimated the Giants a bit. Sorry about the horrible noise. That is my dying washer. That's there. Should be a little cleaner next time. Anyways, the Chargers are going to win because they're going to run the football. The damn Commanders can't stop the run, and they can't stop receivers either. You think that they let Michael Penix go over 300 yards? I do believe Justin Herbert's slightly better than Michael Penix. Some people might argue with me, but I think he is. And I think they're going to make a statement that last week was a fluke of a game against a team like the Giants. And I really do believe you're going to start to see the Commanders unravel a bit, because you're going to see that they're going to be reliant solely upon Jaden Daniels. And this is what's going to happen. They're going to end up being 2-3. They're going to be tied with the Giants. They're going to be tied with the Cowboys. And it's going to be a three-way race for second place. And, the Giants may or may not get there, but this is a team, again, that we talk about with the Commanders. I don't believe they're going to do it. This was a playoff team last year. They haven't played well against playoff teams or decent teams this year, right? With Green Bay and they lost to the Falcons, who were fighting for a wild card last year, right? And then last year they lost to the Ravens. They lost a big game to the Eagles. The only real big win they had was against Detroit, where they absolutely smoked that team, right? I mean, I think they beat Tampa Bay as well in the playoffs, but that was a back and forth game. But when they went, that's the only big team with Detroit. After that, their history has not been winning. The Commanders need to win this game more than anything. I think they blew it against the Falcon team. They had a team that was on the ropes coming in off of that horrible loss. You can't have back-to-back things like that. The Chargers have come off their worst game that they've played all year against the Giants offensively. Credit to the Giants defense. But in reality, there are certain things that they left on the field. They left a lot of points on the field as well that they're going to want to come back. And a team like the Commanders, who don't have those, closers on the defensive line, even with a banged up Chargers offensive line, who believe it or not, like you said, Mac, early on, 180 yards, 180 yards. Even though they gave up those 2 long runs. Well, guess what? I think they're going to give up some more long runs here, and you're going to see that Charger team get to 3-1.
Was yeah, I think the Chargers get them. I think the Commanders have to prove to me that they can beat a good team because they still got to prove that to me. But Joe Tranchina, thanks for stopping in, man. Apparently you a Cowboys fan and you have a axe to grind with the Philadelphia Eagles. But at the end of the day, they are 4-0, and that's what makes them such a great team because they no matter what happens, what's going on through the course of any football game, they figure out a way to pull it out and get the job done, man. So yes, I can see your point that they could very easily be 1-3, but they're not. They're 4-0, man. At the end of the day, you are what your record says you are. Like the great Bill Parcells said, you are what your record says you are, and that record says they are 4-0, man. So what they could be is what they're not. What they are is the reality. What they are is that they're 4-0. I do appreciate you coming in. Appreciate the comment. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, man. We do this every week, talking to NFC East talk, man. Me and Adam. So I appreciate you coming in, man. Adam, you got any final? I do got one thing I want to say before we get out of here real quick because I didn't bring it up at all when we were talking about the Giants. One thing that we didn't talk about a very good positive on the New York Giants is left tackle Andrew Thomas. He's back, y'all. He's back. And he had a hell of a game on Sunday. And he played well in his limited time the week before as well. So Andrew Thomas is back at left tackle, and he's a difference maker on that offensive line. And it's great to have him back out there because he definitely has an impact on this offense as well, a very positive impact on this offense. And he was out there, like I said, you didn't even hear his name mentioned on Sunday. And when you don't hear offensive lineman's name mentioned, that's a very, very good thing. It's good to not hear their names mentioned. So when you hear their names mentioned a lot, JMS and Van Roten, you guys, you hear your names repeatedly. Yeah, that's when it's not so good. So good to have AT back, man. So it's good to have him back in the lineup, and I'm still pushing to maybe work Bo in there some kind of way because Marcus Bo to me is still one of our best 5 offensive linemen based off of what I've seen thus far this year, early part of this year. Maybe figure out a way to get him out there as well. But for right now, Adam, you got any final thoughts before we get out of here? No? Okay. All right,
All right, no.
Got what you say? Put Bo at center. I mean, he's
No.
played a little center from what I heard, but I feel like he's probably better off either. I think that's like the last spot you really want to put him at. I mean, guard, tackle. I feel like it's his wheelhouse for
He's going to
sure.
be right tackle next year.
But I feel like if they don't want to pay Illuminor, he's going to be the right tackle next year. And right now, that could be what the plan is. And I'm good with having 2 bookend tackles and build up the interior offensive line. I mean, at the end of the day, and get that situated. So we'll see what happens as time goes on. But do appreciate you guys all tuning in for another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. I am Mac the Giants fan, and that is my super dope co-host Adam Costas. Man, make sure y'all go to my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the like for the stream, hit the thumbs up on the stream. Go to Adam's channel, Adam Costas, and hit the like for the stream as well, and subscribe to Adam Costas. And as we continue to help our channels continue to grow, go to the Hardcore Sports Network and hit that like and subscribe for the Hardcore Sports Network as well. Collective unit of content creators coming together, putting out a lot of content for all your sports needs, man. So make sure y'all support all those pages for us. We really would appreciate it. Don't cost nothing to support. Don't cost nothing to hit that subscribe button. So just go ahead and help our channels continue to grow. We appreciate you each. We'll be back next Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully talking about another New York Giant W. But I am Mac the Giants fan. That's my guy, Adam Costas. And this has been another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Round Up. Peace. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants Fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants Fan. That's MacDa Giants Fan.